Dan, let's start with you. What are you expecting to hear today?
Well, obviously, this is a music event because the big invite for it was a guitar with an Apple-shaped sound hole in it. So everyone's looking for a new version of the iPod Touch, which has really become the principal iPod. Best case scenario, it looks more like the iPhone 4. It's got one, maybe two cameras on it. If you get the front and back cameras, maybe you can do FaceTime over Wi-Fi. And of course, we've seen some leaks from Chinese case manufacturers of a very small, tiny square case, and that could be a new Shuffle or a new Nano, maybe even with a touchscreen. And of course, like Dennis said, that Apple TV, that's a product that's languished for a long time. Maybe this is the real version of the Apple TV that everyone's been waiting for.
Dan and Ashok, we're going to hold it right there, and we're going to take a look at this tape of the Apple event right now.
These are all curved pieces of glass.
We're going to withdraw from there.
Yes, indeed we are. Go ahead, Mr. Haynes.
Let's get back to Dan. What?
Engineering.
Let's get back to Dan and Ashok Kumar.
Now, Dan, so far, watching this event now on this iPad, most of the announcements have been about the devices have been about fixing them, upgrading them, getting rid of the bugs. How important is it that there's actually an announcement of new products today?
Well, the new products, that's really what we're all here for, but at the same time, a lot of the conversation over the last couple of months has been about the iPhone 4 and the bugs connected with that hardware and the bugs in the iOS 4 software. So we just saw that Steve Jobs said they had iOS 4.1, and that's going to fix some of the proximity sensor bugs, some of the Bluetooth bugs. He's also already mentioned it's going to add TV show rentals and also a game center, which is their version of kind of that Xbox Live community gaming site, which is something they've talked about in the past, but this is the first sort of official here it is announcement.
And Dan, I want to ask you about the pricing. $49, how does that change the equation to have a device that has all the specificity of a bigger iPod but is really much cheaper?
You know, it is cheaper than the previous version. The previous version of that little Shuffle was still pretty expensive. It was under $100 because it doesn't really give you that full iPod experience. There's no screen on it, obviously, so you can't pick which songs you listen to. You're just kind of shuffling through them at random. I think the real interesting part is that Nano that came on screen right after the Shuffle. That's the small little square screen. It's got multi-touch on it instead of the click wheel, and it runs its own little apps. And I think that's going to start at $150, which is really cool for something that's basically almost like a shrunk-down iPad.
Dan.
As a matter of fact, it's didn't they say something like 42% lighter than its predecessor, this Nano, and 46% something else. I can't read my notes here.
Yeah, it's a whole different shape. It's a little tiny square instead of kind of a long, elongated
and all
rectangle.
screen, like the entire thing of the screen is like about half the size of a credit card, right? It looks like, and the entire thing is all screen.
Yeah, the whole thing is a screen, and it's kind of small. It's probably like a large stamp, maybe.
Go ahead, Mark, quick.
I would like to know, from what we've seen of these products, how they are impacting their average selling price. Are they coming up with too many low margin items, or are they going to maintain the margins?
I'll hazard a guess at that. I mean, I don't think so. You know, you can't fight Moore's law, and instead you just have to keep cannibalizing yourself before your rivals do it to you.
At the same time, Apple has always specialized in kind of high-end products. They've always gone for the higher margin products. Their cheapest laptop was always $1,000, while other laptops are $300.
Right.
And they've always very, very consciously stayed out of that low end of the market. So to see them dipping down there is surprising in a way.
That is why I asked the question. Okay.
Dan, Ashok, Dennis, thank you.
All right.